Hey everybody, it is Meg with Coastal, and I am here hanging out tonight with some familiar faces. If you have been tuning in on Wednesday nights for a while now, you know Annie and Brian are friends from Nutrena. But if this is your first time, we want to shout out and give you a little bit of a welcome. And I'm going to let Annie and Brian introduce themselves. Tell us a little bit about who they are, what they do for us here at Coastal, and then we'll just jump into this nutrition chat. So why don't you guys go ahead and kick it off?
Hi guys, thanks for having us again. We're super excited to be joining you on these awesome Wednesday night chats that we have. I'm Annie Hood. I am a Nutrena rep for your Yakima and Coastal stores. I do live, or Yakima and Wenatchee Coastal stores, sorry. I live in Eastern Oregon, but I cover the territory of all of Idaho, Eastern Oregon, Eastern Washington. I've been with Nutrena for about 3 years now. And so really excited that Coastal has had us join them on their weekly chit chat little nights. So hopefully we can teach you something today.
Yeah, and then I am Brian Dodd. I cover all of the other coastals that are not Yakima and Wenatchee, including the new one in Salem. So if y'all are in the Salem area, y'all should go see it. It's beautiful. And I've been with Nutrena we're getting really close to 1 year. And I cover Western Washington, Western Oregon, and Northern California. So yeah.
Awesome.
Let's talk nutrition.
Let's talk nutrition. Thank you, guys. For those of you who were waiting right at 6 on the dot, we apologize. We had a few little technical difficulties, but we are here now. And we are ready to talk all about probiotics, prebiotics, and amino acids. And we just want to let you guys know, if you have any questions that come up as we're talking along about these things, go ahead and just drop that in the comments. I'm going to be monitoring comments on Facebook, and we'll go ahead and we'll get those answered for you. So Annie and Brian, the floor is yours.
Well, thank you. And like our technical difficulties, right? We're still working from home. We were planning to have this awesome slideshow to have you guys tonight. And of course, it worked for 5 minutes and then it decided to quit working. So that is why we're a little bit late. But also, we wanted to go into details about pre and probiotics. We have said that probably a 1,000 times over these weekly chats, whether we're talking about horse feed, dog food, chicken feed, poultry line, right? Whatever. We talk about pre and probiotics often. So we decided to have a night to have something to maybe everyone doesn't really know what that is, what they are, what they do, and why they're important, and why we here at Nutrena choose to put them in our lines of feed. So I'm going to be talking about pre and probiotics tonight, and to kind of start off with like, what are they, right? Maybe somebody doesn't know what those are. If you've walked the health food aisle at your local drugstore or anywhere, or even if you're scrolling on social media, you will know that, gut health is huge, right? No matter what species, if you're even me or even the dog, or I'm pointing to my dog below me, but or anything. So starting off with what they are. So what's a prebiotic? So a prebiotic, is a product that promotes the natural growth of beneficial bacteria population. So what I like to think about it is it's food for the probiotics. So you need those, right? It helps promote that natural growth. So, and then what are probiotics? So probiotics are beneficial bacteria, similar to naturally occurring organisms, right? In the hindgut or the gut of animals, us, anything, to help support digestive health. So that's what like a pre and the probiotics are. So I wanted to kind of go in detail as like maybe a little bit of each. So it kind of gives them more in depth, but also I want to start with like, what's the benefit too? So the benefits of adding pre and probiotics to our feed lines is you're going to improve gut health. Like I said, gut health is huge. You're also going to improve feed efficiency. So maybe you're raising any animals, right? But maybe like broiler chickens, like we do later on. If you catch this on, I go to the Coastal website and look at all of our website links and flyers. And I do have a picture of some broiler chickens that we did a study on NC State. And it shows the difference between the same, all these chicks were, born the same, hatched the same time, everything. They had the same lifespan, everything. And there's a picture of a smaller bird that is literally just the control, right? He's got nothing special. Then there's a second middle bird. He got antibiotics. He's a little bit bigger. And then the next one is a pre and probiotic bird. And you will see that he is, Brian, help me out here, twice the size.
Easily. I wonder, after this is done, we can put that picture into the chat so that they can see it.
We will put it on there. It's a great, just a great example of what pre and probiotics can do for feed efficiency. For, meat birds is a great example of the nature-wise meat bird. But it also helps improve digestion, right? So they're able to break that everything down faster, those bacteria, right? The good bacteria. And they're able to absorb better, right? So it's going to help improve nutrient absorption. And it's also going to reduce the risk of digestive upset, right? So that's also, anytime there's good gut health, but those good pre and probiotics are definitely going to help reduce that risk, as well as reduce the risk of stress, maybe during competition and horses, diet changes. Last week we were talking about, any animals getting evacuated, things like that. This is why we are, so passionate here at Nutrena, but like having these ingredients in the feed, whether it's your dog or it's your horse or it's your chicken, it's super important to help kind of that full digestive tract. But I kind of want to go in details a little bit of both. So kind of about some details of prebiotics. So they are kind of a yeast culture, right? That's what you're going to see on the back of the bag. That's what the prebiotics are. And like I said, they provide that support and energy to the good bacteria in the GI tract. So together, the prebiotics and the probiotics support the digestion process and allow the body to more readily absorb the nutrients in the feed, right? So that's why the prebiotics are so huge. And then the probiotics, like I said, are the good bacteria. They're going to help the intestinal wall lining. They're going to help everything get absorbed and broke down faster. And that's what the good thing is they're microorganisms, right, that contribute to like the microflora. I don't want to go into detail, but they help balance and aid in the digestion of food and nutrient absorption. That's why they're so important. And Nutrena, we tag our probiotics. So like I said, the slideshow, we will put these pictures in the chat because I wish I could point it out to you guys. If you grab a feed tag from Nutrena, I have a great example from a nature-wise layer pellet bag. It says on there, we tag our probiotics, and I highlighted it and everything. I'll post it in the chat to follow. But they're measurements of CFUs, and CFUs are colony forming units. That's what are present in our feed after we pelletize it or it goes through the manufacturing process. We guarantee those on the bag, on the tag. Those are what's in your feed. Those are what are going to go have that bacteria to help break down the feed into specific nutrients that your animals need. So I know that was kind of a lot, but that's, pre and probiotics are huge, right? They tell us to eat. I take a probiotic every day. Eat your yogurt, right? Things like that. So that's why we think it's super important to have that for, like I said, it is in our Loyal Life line, our Loyal line. It is also in our Safe Choice line. I mean, you can't see all the bags behind me. ProForce, Nature-Wise, all of those lines have pre and probiotics, and that is why it's so huge. Empower equine feeds as well. And that's why it's huge, because it really helps to get every bite is actually getting absorbed better, less waste, right? Because they're able to get more in to digest more. So yeah.
Awesome. Good information. A lot of good info. And I think it will help. We'll go ahead and make sure, a little snippet of each one of those awesome slides gets put in. So anybody who's watching live right now, you can go ahead as soon as we're done. We'll load those images into the comments. And if you guys have any questions about those images, you can go ahead and just throw a comment in there. Annie and Brian are always great about helping us out, even after the fact, and chiming in. But if you have any questions in the meantime, go ahead, type them in the comments. We'll chat about them here live as we get them. And we have one more thing to talk about. So Brian, amino acids.
Amino acids. So for anyone who doesn't know, an amino acid is an organic compound that contains nitrogen, carbon, oxygen, and hydrogen. Now that's super scientific, but really what it is,
Yes.
Is it's what proteins are made out of. So we all know that we need protein. A lot of people drink like protein shakes, or they track how much protein is going into their diet. But that protein, if it's not built up of the proper amino acids, isn't actually super digestible. And so there are 10 essential amino acids, meaning that we have to actually consume them. Our body cannot create them. And then from those 10, our body can actually rip them apart and move them around and create the rest of the amino acids. So the 10 essential amino acids are lysine, methionine, threonine, isoleucine, leucine, valine, phenylalanine, tryptophan, histidine, and cysteine. I knew I was going to mess up. I've been practicing for like an hour.
You did good.
I've been practicing for like
That's
an hour.
a lot of words.
That is a lot of words. So we have to consume those. Those have to be in our food, and they have to be in our animal feed, because our animals don't have the ability to just create them. So when you're looking at those and you're thinking, well, I consumed all of my vegetables, right? So I should have all of those. And if we're feeding our animals corn, they should have all of that too, right? And I guess that corn has protein in it, and that protein is made up of an amino acid, but it doesn't necessarily have the full spectrum of amino acids. And corn does not have the full spectrum of amino acids, but other feeds without guaranteed amino acids don't necessarily have the full spectrum of the amino acids that we need to digest the protein itself. And then a lot of our animals that we look at are out on pasture, or they're being fed hay. And if you don't actually know what amino acids are in the protein of those pastures, then you really aren't sure of how much protein your animals have the ability to digest. So because of that, we stick additional amino acids into our feed. Amino acids kind of have like a spectrum of importance. And the most important amino acid, or the one that we refer to as the limiting amino acid, is lysine. So the second lysine is no longer there and no longer available, your body stops digesting complete amounts of the protein, and then falls off methionine, threonine, and there's an order. So we have to have lysine in the most. So if you look at any of our tags for horse feed, well, not any, the vast majority of our horse feed tags, there is going to be a guaranteed amount of lysine listed. And that is because we want to make sure that that lysine is covered. By making sure it's covered, we're making sure that your horse has the ability to digest as much protein that is in that feed as possible. Many of our horse feeds will also have lysine and methionine listed, because that's the second limiting amino acid. So the more that we have listed, the more that we guarantee, the more protein that we know that your horse has the ability to consume and actually digest. Because protein, once you have run out of lysine, just comes out of the back end or in the urine, and then you're paying for really expensive manure at that point in time, which is not ideal. So we make sure that those amino acids are in the feed. Things that are created from amino acids are hair. So the coat is 95% amino acids. Your hoof is 95% amino acids. Tendons, so everything that's going to tell the muscles to move when they're supposed to move, 93% amino acids. The skin, 90% amino acids. Muscles, and this one surprises most people, is only 73% amino acids. And then bone is 30% amino acids. So we don't see all of those things. Like, we don't see the tendons. We do see muscle growth when we help support the amino acids. We do see a higher quality in hair and hoof when we help support those amino acids. So that's really when you're going to be capable of seeing what's going on. And with the feeds having all of those guaranteed amino acids, you you can see when it is that the feed stops being digestible. There's an awesome slide that I wish that you could see. We tried so hard, that has it has a barrel. And at the bottom of the barrel, it lists 4 amino acids. And there are bars in the barrel. And the idea is that the lowest point that all of the bars are filled, that's how much protein you can actually digest. So above that, if you have more tryptophan than you do lysine, you can't actually absorb that protein anymore. So that protein's not as important because it's just going to become waste product. Does that make sense? You're following, Meg?
Yeah, I'm tracking with you. I'm tracking with you. I can also picture the slides, so maybe that helps a little bit. But I think you explained that in a great way. And
Okay.
I love how you hit on all the important things, you know, that those amino acids build on. And we've talked a lot about, you know, stress and the prebiotics and probiotics and how they can help out, and how these amino acids can really help out with, you know, the things we can see on the outside, like that hair growth and hoof growth and kind of all those things that we love to see as markers of good nutrition. But I love that you touched on the things on the inside that we can't necessarily see. I think, you know, whether you are raising an animal for market, or you have a show horse, or, you know, maybe you just have a dog that loves to chase that tennis ball and works really hard at that. You know, these are things that are important for no matter what animal somebody has. And I just love that your guys' feed is packed full of them, and that you've realized the importance of them, and you know, that we can just really tap into this. This is good info. I know there's a lot of big scientific words, but I think once we get those images in the comments, everyone will see really how simple it is. Yeah, I think it's great info. Did you have anything else about the amino acids you were going to cover, Brian?
I'm really just distracted. I'm not switching over as well as I should to not having the slideshow. But no, so essentially the point is that we supplement the amino acids to try and make sure that you're digesting as much of the protein out of the feed as you possibly can. And with that, the more full, the better your protein profile is in that feed, the more you will digest and the more you'll actually be able to use and see.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I think it's important for all of us right now. I think we can all raise our hand when we say 2020 has just been the craziest year that we could have ever imagined. And, you know, we're still doing the social distancing, which we were not expecting to still be doing. But I know a lot of people have been hit hard financially as well, not only with everything that happened on the front end of this year, but also so many in the fire areas that have been impacted in Oregon and Washington. And really anything to kind of stretch that dollar a little bit further as we move into winter and really gain the benefit, I think, of all the great ingredients in the feed. I mean, who would not want to do that, right?
Right.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. As far as pre and probiotics and amino acids goes, do you guys have anything last minute to add before we start to wrap this up?
Read your tags. Read your tags. So when we guarantee amino acids, they are listed on the tag. And that's how you really know that we have put in there what we're supposed to have put in there. Same with pre and probiotics. If it's on the tag, it's real. And so like, make sure that you're reading tags. I'm a stickler for tags. Y'all all know.
Okay. All right. All right. Well, you know, one thing that I know that I appreciate about you guys is that what is on the tag, it's guaranteed it's in the bag. And it's so great to know that we have the ability to feed, you know, such high quality feed to our animals, whether it be a dog or a cat, you know, all the way to equine livestock, the whole range of it. The other thing that I love so much about Nutrena is that when there's needs in our community that we're taking care of, you guys jump right in, and you guys are just right there to help us out provide support to our communities. I can't thank you enough for everything that you did and will continue to do as we start to recover from these fires. I know our warehouse got some trucks of feed in that you guys helped send our way so that we could get it out to those who were evacuated. And not only were we able to supply evacuated animals with some of this great quality feed in a time of high stress, right? But moving forward, you know, we know this isn't going to be a short haul for some people, and we're just so thankful to have you guys partnering with us just to support our communities. It means so much to us. And we can't thank you enough for all the things that you do on top of these weekly chats that are so much fun. It's just really awesome that you guys step up alongside us, and we could not be more grateful. So thank you very much for everything that you guys have done and will continue to do, for sure.
Thanks for having us. We wouldn't trade it for the world.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Well, Wednesday nights are always a good time over here. 6 p.m. This is our usual happenings. Do we have a topic for next week? Any teasers?
We do. And I know we focus a lot on equine, livestock, everything like that, chickens. But if you have a dog or cat, please join us next week. We will be going over the Loyal Lifeline in depth, and it is going to be super exciting. And so please join Brian and I as we talk about I got two laying next to me right here as I speak. And so, you know, please join us and bring your furry pet. We would love to see some pictures. So maybe if anybody wants to join next week, post some pictures in the chat. Maybe we'll send you a free bag coupon. And we'll get you set up with a free bag of Loyal Life to try at home.
I think that's a great idea. You guys have all week to plan. We're going to be talking dog and cat, Loyal Life. Get your photos ready because we want to see them in the comments next week. We might be a little bit distracted as we go.
Right?
You might be oohing and awing over all of your pets, but we want to see them.
Maybe if maybe I'm jumping the gun, Meg, but maybe we can do a little teaser post and people can pre-post pictures with like most creative or like funny picture, something like that. We can maybe give a coupon our way there. I would love to see that. Who doesn't love pictures of dogs and cats? And I mean, I think it'd be great.
Year needs. This year needs more pictures of dogs and cats.
I would agree. That is right. Well, we'll see if we can make that happen. So you guys can all keep an eye out for that post coming up, and definitely mark your calendars next week at 6 p.m. and get your furry friends ready to watch because we'll be coming at you live right here. So Annie and Brian, thank you so much for hanging out with us tonight, and we will chat with you next week.
Thank you.
Thank you.